Welcome to Worth Following Weekly, 5 minutes of mentoring each week on the skills every leader, regardless of level, needs to build and develop to become a leader who is worth following. I'm your host and lead consultant for Roots to Sky Consulting, Mark Legvold. We've been talking about preparation for difficult conversations, when to start, and how to get ready for the actual talks we all have to facilitate when leading others. Just remember, knowing and caring about your people is the first step in leadership. And people show up as they are, just like you do. They don't leave home stresses, relationship issues, past wounds, or current anxieties in the parking lot. Knowing this and knowing them is the first step in correcting, guiding, and informing them of any of the information you are required to cover in a difficult conversation. So, you've got your firm plan all set. You've taken the time to reflect on your emotions and your preconceived ideas on how they are, and you've covered the logistics of when and where and how to meet. My suggestion is that the time you've spent preparing and writing down and rehearsing your firm plan is worth the energy. But in order to be in the moment with your associate, leave your written notes in the drawer. If your organization has guidance about written feedback, have it well prepared ahead of time. But your firm plan is a plan, not a script. So it's time to earn your paycheck. One of the most difficult jobs of having a hard conversation is actually being in the moment with your associate. Turn off any of your distractors, cell phone, computer reminders, walk-ins, even that extra work on your desk. All of these things should be mitigated. Bring your eyes to read their nonverbals and be prepared to adjust your tack or ask their state of mind if you see something alarming. As you begin the conversation, let your associate know what your end goal is and make it one that is long-term focused. My end goal here is to make sure we are able to continue to work safely and to keep the value of care and respect, even though this topic is hard. I want you to know I value you and all you bring to the team. Bring your ears too, but have a few of the redirect statements at the ready. If your associate brings up new and helpful information or provides something helpful for the future, have a notepad handy and write it down. Be savvy enough to tell them what you're writing too, especially if it's helpful. But once you're done, move on to completing the conversation you are responsible for. After you've covered your information and the necessary parts of the resources you're required to state, and by making it matter, remind them of their contributions, the positive points you've noticed, your future thoughts and hopes for them, both long and short term, and any realistic consequences, if any, that will be felt by them. Be honest and truthful. Here's how this can sound. I know this has been tough to hear, but our goal is to make sure everyone works safely and goes home feeling cared about and respected. I respect you too much to just let this go because of the impact it has on others and on your future with us. Based on your past performance, I have no doubt that this will be an easy correction for you, and I am here to help you if you need it. Touch base with you in a couple days just to check in. You're important enough to our organization and to me to make sure we're all right. But for now, let's get back to work. That's just an example of how to end, especially if your firm plan was well executed and you knew the tendencies and temperament of your associate. We all know there are other, even harder conversations like termination and extreme discipline issue that no leader likes to have. Rarely are those a first contact conversation. So knowing your people is still the best way to keep your people. But having been in those conversations in the past, there are still ways to accomplish them while still leaving your associate feeling cared about and respected, even if you're letting them go. At the end, I mentioned a subtle part of leadership that's key in building yourself as a leader who is worth following, and that's touching base after the hard conversation. Next week, I'll go into detail on the importance of touching base and following up with your people. If you or your organization is struggling with this, or in any of the skills in becoming a leader worth following, feel free to reach out. You can contact me at rootstoskyconsulting.com. I'm happy to partner to help you grow leaders in your organization who are worth following. We'll see you next week.